Now what we need to do is that we need to work on the rest of the images. So we need first to work on the logo, and also we need to work on the banner. So we need to add another image. So let me add these, and also in the footer we need to add here the logo and a few images here. So I have here a folder for these images. I have these images. First I have this banner. I'm gonna drag this banner and drop it here onto the images. And I also have the logo. I have this logo. Let me drag this logo and drop it onto the images. And let's now add these. So this is the logo that I'm going to be using. So now what I'm going to do is that here in the style.css, first of all, for the banner, I'm going to change the banner from back to banner. I'm going to be displaying this image. I'm going to be displaying this image instead of the back image. I'm going to say here banner.jpg. Now let me refresh and show you how it's going to look like. So first of all, because I have added the logo has been displayed, but I'm going to work on the logo shortly. For the banner, as you can see, this is the banner will be displayed here, but we need to change the color here because it's not, I don't think the color looks good with this banner. So I'm going to change the banner here, the banner text to white. So instead of saying color, remember we have this banner color coral, I'm going to change it to white. So I think white would look much better. So if I say white, it's going to look better. Also, the above the this text, we need to change this text. So if I go back to the index, we have the banner. Let me show you this. We have this banner. So we have this mid-season sale. So we need to change the H4. Therefore, I'm going to say here banner, and then H4, and then I'm going to say color, and the color is going to be white. Let me now show you this. So the color is going to be white, and now it looks better. Now let's work on the logo. The logo now is being displayed here, and also in the footer we need to display it here. But it's too big, therefore we need to add a class to resize this this logo. So I'm gonna head on over to CSS, and then in CSS I'm gonna create a class here. I'm gonna create a class, but before I create the class, let's add that class to the index. So in the index here, in the navigation bar, I'm gonna here say image, I'm gonna say class, and I'm gonna give this image a class called logo. And also in the footer, if you scroll to the footer, you'll find that we have this image. We have the image right here, this image. So for actually not this image, this is for the payment, so it must be this one. It must be this one. So this one, logo. We need also to give this image the same class, which is the logo. I'm going to say logo. So let's work on this logo class. Here in the style, I'm going to create a, I'm going to say logo. I'm going to say here dot logo, and for the logo, we need to resize the image. So I'm going to give it a width of 40 px and height also 40 px. Let me save and let me head on over to the browser and refresh. And now, as you can see, the logo is going to be much smaller. Also, in the footer, we have a problem. In the footer, we have here to say assets, images, not just images. Assets, images, logo.jpg. Now, if I refresh, the logo will be displayed here as well. Here, this navigation bar, if you find that this nav bar is shifted to the right, is too much shifted to the right, you can decrease the margin. So at the top, remember I have here said margin left 60. You can decrease this if you want to shift this navigation buttons to the middle. So if you say here, for example, if you say 40%, the navigation buttons, these buttons will be shifted to the middle. So you can control this for some reason if you want your design to be like this. But I liked the buttons to be displayed on the right side. Another thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to display the brand name here. So if you want to display a brand name, you can here say below the image in the navigation bar below the image, you can here say H2 for example, and then you can say you can give it first a class brand, and then here let's type the brand name. So for example, I'm gonna say here orange, and then let's work on the class, on the brand class. I'm gonna say here dot nav bar, and then dot brand, and then I'm gonna change the color first. I'm gonna say color coral, and next I'm gonna say margin. I'm gonna give it a margin. So the margin is gonna be 3px top and bottom, and 5px right and left. Finally, I'm gonna change the font size. So the font size would be 1.5 rem. Let me save and let me head on over to the browser and show you the difference now. So this is the brand name. As you can see here, it says orange. Of course, this is just a brand name that I came up with right now, but you need to type a brand name, your brand name. As I told you here, the problem is that the navigation bar now, because we have here the brand name and the logo, the navigation buttons has been shifted to the right, and we don't want that. Therefore, I'm going to decrease here, I'm going to decrease the margin left to say 50%. So if I decrease this, now it will be shifted slightly to the right. So I want it to be like this, or at least, or I can increase it a little. So for example, 55 I think would be perfect. So 55 is perfect. Now it's perfect. Finally, we need to work on the images. At the bottom here, we have 5 images. So for these images, you can add new images, or you can use some of the images that we already have. So I'm going to be using some of the images that we already have. For example, I'm going to say here featured 1, featured 2, and featured 3, and featured 4. And finally here, let's say here we have I think clothes 1. Let me save and let me refresh and show you now that these images will be displayed here. As you can see, these are the images that will be displayed here. So now our website, our main page is complete in terms of the images and also in terms of the design.